Kia ora koutou, another red day, but not because I broke my rules. Only one trade today on FAAS. My timing was a bit off, but I stuck to my plan and avoided chasing the wild movers outside my strategy. So let's break it down. So today I took a trade on FAAS. So this broke up just after 8 o'clock, it popped up here to just over $1, and I sort of saw it here as it had pulled back and then pushed again to about $1.05. So this was probably the better entry here around $1, holding the whole dollar, had pulled back, and you know the volume eventually did come in and push up to $1.50. It was definitely quick coming up to $1.50, and pulled back pretty quickly there and sold back off. So my entry here was too early, to be honest. I was looking at this candle here, the bottom of this candle here, and looking at getting it in around 120. I got that stuck in my head, and so when it came down to 120, I basically pushed the buy button. But really looking at the chart, I should have waited. I should have waited until it had come back down to the 9 EMA. And that should have been my entry at that level there. So I'll just quickly bring up a video because that will just show you here on the video what I was looking at. I'll speed that up. Actually, this was the initial push here when it pulled back, was holding around $1, and then it broke, pushed all the way up to 114, and even if I'd got in there at $1, it might have been difficult to, I'm not sure if I would have held that long. In at $1, already up 15 cents, I possibly would have taken that off the table. But there's no real reason to sell yet. And then pushing up to 144, that was probably where you'd look at selling, that big push there to 150. Probably wouldn't have got filled at 150, might have got 140 or 130s, but yeah, that was a tough one. Pretty quick. But then on the pullback, see I've actually got a price in there at 115 at the moment. Looking at the top of this candle as being resistance, but I'll speed this up again, actually. What I was looking for was it to come down to around 120, hold 120, and then push back up towards the high. But really that big topping tail candle there, it's not a very good indicator that it's actually going to go further, or really have the strength to go back up. That's a pretty big sell order there, pretty big sell off. So I was in there at 120, and now it's pushed back up to 120, but yeah, it's not breaking through, and this is where it starts pulling back. It's a bit of red on the tape coming through. Now it's down to $1.14, $1.15, and I should be pushing the sell button already. It's obviously not going to hold, but I think I'm thinking, oh, maybe it'll push back. But it kept going lower, and here would have been a good place to get out. It's obviously not going to work, but I'm still holding. And then it basically comes down to 110, and I think I did try to sell actually, but I think it refused my order because I had the wrong share size in there. 225 and I'm trying to sell 240. Yeah, so it actually refused my sell order. Then I finally got it right and sold out there at $1.11. So still 9 cents loss, but 225 shares, it's a $20.25 loss on that one. It did rally after that, so I was a bit annoyed that it did push back up off the 9 EMA. But as I said, that was probably the entry, really, if I was patient, waiting for the entry there, you know, break over 113. It did only go to 118, I think, this green candle here, and then pulled back again, back down to 110, and then pushed to 124 after that. So that was the trade on FAAS. Yeah, so there it pushed back up to 124 after going back to about 107, 108, 110, pushed back to 124 there. So if I held through there and got out up here, that would have been okay. That would have been an all right trade, but really entry too soon here and ended up stopping out. So that was the trade on FAAS. There were some other stocks as well that I looked at when I got up. The two stocks that sort of were the leading gainers were WRORX, which was but too cheap for me, and this was around the VWAP when I started trading, and I actually had broken up through VWAP and was around this level here, around 68 cents, 65 cents. So as it sort of pushed up here, it was just, I'm not very good at trading these penny stocks, so I left it alone. It did push up to a high of 74 cents and then pulled all the way back. And I did watch it again actually as it came back up to VWAP and tested VWAP and then broke, and really did think about taking a trade here as it sort of broke up through here, but I just don't have just not very good with these heavily traded stocks, so I didn't take that entry here at 65 cents. Would have been a good entry though, because it would have been about 300 shares. If I bought with my, I could buy about 300 shares here at 65 cents, and if I could held even to 10 cents a share or something like that, that would have been a decent one. So Weeks pushed up to 88 cents, but didn't actually make it to $1, and then went sideways, and then rolled over at the thing. So after it had sort of hit 88 cents and started pulling back, I didn't actually see that again. Didn't really interest me anymore. But SBET was the other stock that was which became the leading gainer in pre-market, and I did see it pop up in this area here. I did see it as it was above VWAP and was sort of pushing up here, but even at this price here at over $9, around $10, it's kind of expensive, and I'm getting like 22, 24, 25 shares on this stock. So yeah, I wasn't interested in it in through here, and it wasn't till it pushed up here to 12, pulled back, and then I saw it pop up through VWAP again and pushed to about 11.20 and pulled back, and I drew this resistance line here thinking, maybe if it comes back down to this line again, I will look at taking an entry, just thinking that maybe there's some support along here, as it popped up here and was coming down here, I thought about taking a position at 11.25 as it was sort of going sideways here. I thought, well, if it dips down to 11.25, I think it was actually after this pullback here, and it did pull down to 11.30, 11.28. Didn't quite make it to 11.25, but then I decided, I got distracted by something else actually and watched another stock. But I was a bit gutted because if I had taken 11.25, I might have been a bit scared when it dipped down to 10.24, but it ripped all the way back up. And this was a massive move. All the way up to 13.83 first, pulled back to 13.10, and then ripped all the way to 22.97, and then again to around $34, $35, $34.81. So that was a massive move in 3 candles, in 3 minutes. And even at 22 shares, you know, that would have been a decent profit, going over, you know, $20 a share basically. Yeah, that would have been a nice profit to have had. So I was a bit gutted that I missed out on that. That was such a massive move, and really I didn't see that coming. Like for me, getting at 11.25, I was looking at pushing back to 12. You know, up to 12.35, maybe breaking and making a new high, but I was not expecting it to blast up $20. So that was pretty amazing. And then even at the open, it still pulled away. And now it's too expensive, way too expensive for me to trade here. At the open, you know, up at $28, it still pushed up to a high of, what's that, 53.33. So really strong move on SBET today, which is cool to see. And you know, I think the overall condition of the market, I think the S&P 500's up today as well, up 1% or something, 1.9%. I think I read somewhere. Probably look that up actually. So I'll just go here, click here. Actually, it looks like it's up 2% on the day. And if I change that to the daily chart, yeah, so yeah, it has been in a little bit of a dip, and now it's pushing back to this pivot point again. So today it looks like it's had a good rally there of around 2%, S&P 500, and both the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq are up also, so that's good. Oh, the only other stock that I thought about trading was HOLO earlier on. So HOLO was up pre-market, but by the time I saw it around 6:30, 6:40, it was below VWAP. It did push up to VWAP, and as it pushed up here, I thought about taking a trade here as it broke VWAP. But then I thought, no, I'll just wait to see what it does, see if it holds that level. But pretty quickly it broke down and then flushed. So that was complete rejection off that level, so I didn't touch that at all. And that never really came into play again for me. Did push at the open, but I wasn't watching that at the open. I was watching FAAS, which also did push up at the open, but I didn't take any trades on that. So that was pretty much it for the day. So in the end, I am starting the week after the long weekend. Maybe that's it. I'm a little bit rusty, and you know, was a bit eager to get in on my trade on FAAS, and wasn't patient enough to wait for my entry. So down $20.25 today at the start of the week, with only the one trade on FAAS. Yeah, so still need lots of work to do to actually get in a green month. And after I've put in all my fees, my last 2 days last week were red as well, because the fees dropped me down below break even. So down 53 cents on Thursday and down $3.66 on Friday, which meant last week's green week turned into a red week by 16 cents. So not great result there either. So May is turning into a bit of a nightmare really. Still got more green days than red days, but only just. And if I switch this to gross profit and take off the fees, it looks better. But yeah. Disappointed with the FAAS trade, but I'm glad I didn't let that push me into revenge mode. The big takeaway from today, it's okay to miss out as long as I stick to my plan. I shut it down at 10 AM, one loss is enough. That's it for day 59, not the outcome I wanted, but I'm still in the game. Appreciate you being here. If you're new, subscribe to follow the real unfiltered trading journey, wins, losses, and all the lessons in between. I'll see you tomorrow. Hei au popo.